It is the next day now. This morning we did finish up that tractor. Christoph drove it down the road. It no longer tries swerving off the road to the right because the front end is actually aligned correctly. No matter how much you would try to align that front end with the tires, it would have still pulled to the right because the whole axle was shifted. So drives good for him. Now we are putting on the sideboard. We have the front and rear bracket up there right now. The front one's getting welded on because we can pull the bolts off the bottom, take it off. And on this one, we're gonna put a bolt through right here, and here is the plan to be able to pull it off on this side. And then they're gonna get 2 more holders in the middle, but we gotta see where to put them. We have a hook welded on.
Yep.
And we're gonna keep going.
It's gonna be perfectly balanced. It's gonna go great.
Let's go. So there is a high possibility that I did squish Ferdy's fingers a little bit. I say high possibility because it did happen. I think he had his fingers in a place he shouldn't have.
Well, I was trying to twist it. It was a little hard because it...
Anyways, that is...
I just don't... We gotta check that side. I don't know if you want to get inside to see if you can push it against it.
Yes, he didn't dump all the sawdust out.
Yeah, I did see that.
I don't think he picked it up all the way.
It is what it is. It did piss me off too. So,
so yeah, you'll see. This is basically how it's gonna go on.
Yeah, you just have to go over there and push it. I'm gonna hold it here so it doesn't.
We're getting the back one torched out, and then we're gonna bolt it on. Basically 2 half-inch bolts. I think these are 2.5 inches long or 3. I think I grabbed 2.5. Mount that on top and bottom. Well, after we got to get a little bit of shim steel because of the way the mesh is. It's we can't weld it flat, so we'll put a little bit of shim there. So we got 4 plates on actually. Once we were up there and moving it back and forth, we realized we could get it bowed enough to put 4 holders on, not just 3. So the back, right there's one, and there's one in the front. He's now cutting a couple shim plates so that we can weld it, and we'll be good to go. I'm gonna go put the bucket on this so he can stand in this to make it a little easier for him. We're welding the first one on. As of right now, to end the day, I kind of put the camera down just so we could keep working. But we got the back caging on. It's all welded, all painted. We were gonna, where the gray is, make it gray, but we didn't have any gray paint. So I just painted it black for now, and then maybe if we get some, we could switch it. But these are done, and then we still have to get steel to do this side. So as of right now, that part is all good. So we're back in the shop. We have mine in here now. I think in the winter we showed you that I hit a tree stump with the plow or with the push blade, and I broke the housing bolts on this thing. There's 6 of them that hold the weight block and whole front end system on. There's 2 here and 2 here and 2 there, so 6. 4 of them have been broken for a long time, and then 2 of them, the 2 really long ones, this one and that one, are the longest because they go from the bottom of the block all the way up. These go from here and they go into the housing system here. These back 2 right here, they have been broken for a long time because Chris have had a struggle to get them out. All of them we were able to just weld a nut on and back them right out. And then the one, you want to tell them how to do that?
Torch the whole thing out the whole way. Back one.
He blew a hole straight up into it, and you know, there's nowhere for the sludge to go.
It all came down.
So he was cursing.
Took me a few hours.
And then he had to go in there with a screwdriver and a pick, pull it out of the threads, and then torch it again, and then run a die through it. But he got it. So then we can put all the bolts in, and this will be good again.
Just putting the hoses on.
That's why we weren't able to put the weight block on it or the push blade at all for anything.
It broke this.
Because, yeah. It did crack this a little bit.
We're going to risk it for the biscuits.
We can't really change it. It is what it is. So that's why this is getting done. We just finally had time to do it. We need it done before corn planting, or corn chopping, so it can go on the blade again.
That is coming up soon.
So that's this. To show you the dump trailer, we have all the sideboards done. A little bit of painting still, but we have all the top hooks. So there's a top pin here, you can see it. There's one at the very front, and then in the center there's a pin that holds these 2 sideboards together. The swinging system does work. Just needs a little bit of painting and some clips so that it stays, because literally it takes like 2 minutes to flip this up and down. It works very good. There's a holder here and there, so when it's down, the weight is on the holder and not just on the 6 hinges. Ferdy right now is working on, in the cab, we want to be able to dump the air valve on this trailer. So we plumbed in another, basically another dump switch. So this one right here, our suspension switch. This runs the truck one. And then we had an open spot right here. It took a little bit of grinding and stuff, but we have there's another switch in there, and that'll run the dump trailers. So we never have to get out.
I don't know what that one does. There's a, right here, you can see, there's like a port box. And this one right here is plugged off.
Oh, and he's trying to plumb it inside.
Yeah, that way it's kind of just neat. But there's a hose that comes to it, but it's plugged off, so it actually doesn't do anything. So I gotta see what it does or where it goes to. Maybe I can use it.
Yep. We do try doing the stuff so it still looks neat and kind of factory. I mean, you can't make it perfect, but we try. Just takes time. This is unhooked because we were doing some welding still. And yeah, she's coming along. Once this is all done, we will show you the folding tailgates and stuff. But we can also, we've plumbed it up in here to where we flip like 6 valves, and you can run the tailgate system and the dump valve still from outside. So if we hooked it up to a truck that wasn't ours, plumbed for it, you could still run the trailer normally how it used to be. But we want to be able to not get out of the truck if we don't have to. So we're gonna put this block back in. We are borrowing this transmission jack from a neighbor. We don't own one. We should, but we don't. So It's kind of blocked up on a block here and over there so that it can't teeter.
That's really weird.
Whoa, don't pick it up yet. She's gonna fall over. But we're gonna shove this thing back in.
Yeah, I think you're good. Push. Good. Yeah. Now you find some bolts, some nemesis.
I have all the bolts in the cab. We bought them new.
Oh, yeah, fine.
So these are the longest bolts. To put that in perspective, I don't know.
Is that a 1.5 feet?
I don't have the tape measure on me. But yes, that is a long. That is a long thing. I mean, this is my hand. So yeah. Christoph's working with a unit like that, right? What?
I was gonna say something.
He was gonna say something, but he's gonna keep it PG. So he's gonna put this back together.
What was that like? I know they took it out of the thing.
Christoph has most of this back together. We had to order 2 new top pins. This one we had to cut off, beat in because we couldn't get it pull out, cut it, and do that a couple times. So that one's junk. This one is messed up. There's a little bit of other stuff he's got to put together, but for the most part, that's together. This is completely done now. I can show you basically how it works. We have a little loop holder there. The pin's on the ground right now, but when it's down, there's a holder right in the center here and on that one, so that the weight sits on there, not just these gate hinges, because that's all they are. But it's sturdy. You pull that, you flick it up, and then it locks there. And then here in the center, I'm gonna put this pin in. I don't think it'll. No, it will not lock together when it's down, but that's fine. It doesn't need to. This locks together when it's up. It's just the angle it is. It's not going to sit right, but that don't matter. It doesn't need to, because the same that I just showed you in the back is right here, and then in the front there's a big rod to lock this one is, and it's a long one so that it's kind of holding at the top like it is in the back, because there's only 2 things actually holding it from flipping up and down. Flips pretty good. And then in the truck, Ferdy did finish plumbing in the lift system,
Which is just this one here. So that'll just drop the suspension.
and that works good. The tailgate works from in the cab. So now we have a lot of things plumbed up, and then all those can get hung up there. And then right in here, if it was up, I could show you. I think there's 6 valves in there, and if we flip them just right, it's 6. It's not 3, because there's just a bunch of hoses and a bunch of valves. I haven't looked at it in a little bit. You can convert it to then running. This would be your tailgate, and then this would be your suspension up and down, and then that air supply actually runs off your when you fill the airbags up, it would run off that air instead of the truck air. It's kind of complicated how it works, but it works good, because up until now I'd have to still get out to dump the airbags for dumping, but now we don't have to even do that, so it'll be pretty slick. This does have the extra lockers right here to really seal it up. We use that when we get sawdust, because it really tightens the gap up. Otherwise it might leak a little bit. But when we're hauling feed or anything else, these are just swung to the side, and it's working perfecto. So she's officially can just stay put down there. We got nothing left to do with it. So thanks for watching. Until the next one.